The years flowed on like a quiet river, and with each passing season, Jamestown continued to grow and evolve. My blacksmith shop had become a bustling center of activity, forging tools, horseshoes, and ironwork for the settlers. It was hard work, but I relished the sense of purpose it brought me. James had fulfilled his dream of opening his own blacksmith shop nearby, and our friendly rivalry pushed both of us to refine our craft. We often exchanged techniques and shared a sense of pride in our achievements. It was a testament to the resilience of our community, where dreams could take root and flourish. My family had grown as well. My wife, Eleanor, was a strong and resourceful woman who had stood by my side through the challenges of colonial life. Together we had 2 children, a daughter named Abigail and a son named Benjamin. They were a source of boundless joy and hope, a reminder of the future we were building. But despite the growth and prosperity of Jamestown, the specter of conflict still loomed on the horizon. The tensions between the settlers and the indigenous tribes had not abated, and sporadic skirmishes served as a reminder of the fragile peace that existed. It was during one particularly harsh winter that the situation reached a breaking point. The settlers faced food shortages, and the Powhatan tribe, pushed to the brink by encroachment, became increasingly distrustful of the English presence. In the depths of that winter, as snow blanketed the landscape and the river froze over, a series of unfortunate events unfolded. Misunderstandings and mistrust led to a violent clash between a group of settlers and Powhatan warriors. Lives were lost on both sides, and the fragile truce that had endured shattered like fragile ice. Jamestown was thrown into turmoil. Fear and uncertainty gripped the settlers as they fortified the settlement against the looming threat of reprisal. It was a dark time, and the dream of a harmonious coexistence seemed further away than ever. It was then that I remembered Nani and the lessons she had imparted to me beneath the ancient oak tree. The bond we had forged, transcending language and culture, held a glimmer of hope in the darkness. I believed that if we could find a way to communicate and negotiate with the Powhatan tribe, we might be able to prevent further bloodshed. With the support of James and other like-minded settlers, I set out on a treacherous journey into the heart of Powhatan territory. Armed not with weapons, but with the hope of diplomacy. I hoped to find a way to bridge the divide between our peoples. As I ventured deeper into the wilderness, the snow-covered landscape felt both beautiful and foreboding. The air was frigid, and the silence of the forest was broken only by the occasional call of a distant bird or the crunch of snow beneath my boots. Days turned into weeks as I navigated the unforgiving terrain, occasionally encountering signs of Powhatan presence, traces of their camps, tracks in the snow, and the remnants of a long-abandoned fire. The closer I got to their territory, the more apprehensive I became. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I arrived at the edge of the Powhatan village. The settlement was nestled amidst the trees, hidden from prying eyes. I approached cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. As I entered the village, I was met with wary gazes from the Powhatan people. They regarded me with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. I knew that I needed to convey my peaceful intentions, and so I raised my hands in a gesture of goodwill, hoping it would be understood. The tribal chief, a dignified elder with a mane of gray hair, stepped forward. He was introduced to me as Chief Wahunsonakok, the same chief I had met years ago during the drought crisis. His eyes bore the weight of wisdom and experience. Through a combination of gestures, expressions, and simple words, I attempted to convey our desire for peace and reconciliation. I spoke of the lessons Nani had taught me about the interconnectedness of all living things and the importance of finding common ground. Chief Wahunsonakok listened intently, and although the language barrier was a formidable obstacle, there was a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. He gestured for me to follow him, and I did so willingly, hoping that our meeting would lead to a dialogue between our peoples. In the days that followed, we communicated through a patchwork of gestures, drawings in the sand, and the occasional shared word. It was slow progress, but it was progress nonetheless. Chief Wahunsonakok expressed his concerns about the encroachment of settlers on their ancestral lands, the depletion of resources, and the loss of their way of life. I, in turn, shared the settlers' fears and hopes for a peaceful coexistence, emphasizing our desire to live in harmony with the land and its native inhabitants. It was a delicate dance of diplomacy, and the stakes were high.